Hey guys, welcome back to Ashire Books. Today I'm going to do my May book haul. So I bought quite a few books this month, kind of by accident. I didn't really necessarily plan on buying most of these, but a few were series I kind of wanted to finish. And then I kind of just found myself at used bookstores a couple of times this month, just because I had some time. So I really am excited about all of the ones I got. So I'm going to kind of briefly show you what I've got, but if there's any in this video that you really want to know more about, definitely let me know down below. So the first two I'll talk about really briefly because I've already kind of mentioned them in videos, and that was just Misadventures of a College Girl by Lauren Rowe and The Girl Who Knew Too Much by Amanda Quick. I have read this one. I haven't read this one. So this one, I believe it's a historical mystery, which I've really been kind of into lately, and it's set in I think the 1930s in Hollywood, and it just sounds so good. I'm really excited to get to this. The next book I got, also from Barnes & Noble, as the same trip as the first ones, was The Royal We by Heather Cox and Jessica Morgan. I've already read this. I read this a few years ago on my Kindle, but I really wanted to pick up a copy of it because I liked the cover. It's so adorable, and hey, any royalty romance is a good one in my opinion, so I'm really excited to have this one for my shelf. So the next few books are going to be ones that I got from a library book sale. I don't believe I hauled these last month because, no, I wouldn't have because I went in May. Never mind. But these are ones I got from the library book sale. I didn't get too many this time because there weren't too many that I really was all that interested in, but I will show you what they are. Also, side note, I'm really sorry if it's kind of dark in here or if you hear rumbling because it is a terrible thunderstorm outside right now, like a really big one. So sorry if you hear any kind of loud booming sounds. But the first one I got from the library book sale was a really old copy of Naked in Death by J.D. Robb. I've been looking for a hard copy of this one because for some reason, like my used bookstore and a couple of the other places didn't have this first one, which is the first one in her In Death series. I really want to start this series. I've heard really good things about it, mostly from Mara at Books Like Whoa, and she really likes the series, so I'm really excited to have it, and I kind of like this cover, I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of different. The second one I got was A Rogue by Any Other Name by Sarah MacLean. This is the first in one of her other series by Sarah MacLean that I haven't read yet. So when I saw it for like, I think all of the paperbacks were like 25 cents, I went ahead and picked it up, so I'm not exactly sure what it's about, but I really like Sarah MacLean. The next one's another Sarah MacLean, and that is 11 Scandals to Win a Duke's Heart by Sarah MacLean. This one I know is book 3, I believe, in the series that I started earlier this month. That is our book club pick, so I went ahead and grabbed it. And then the next one I got was a Johanna Lindsey, and that's Tinder is the Storm. Mostly got this one because I've got a couple other of Johanna Lindsey's books and I haven't read them yet. But I went ahead and picked this one up because A, it's in a little tiny paperback, which I kind of prefer to the hardbacks, for being honest. And also, I've heard that Tinder is the Storm is, I think, one of her more popular, like, well-known books. Obviously, this is definitely an older historical romance, and I do not know anything about it. But I figured I'd give it a go. And then I got Julie Garwood, The Ideal Man. Julie Garwood is an author that wrote a lot of historicals, like, a while back, like originally when she started writing, I believe, and now she kind of writes kind of like romantic thrillers, and this one I believe has to do with, I mean, based on the cover, I know it has something to do with, like, I think it's an FBI agent or something like that, and there's a girl, and I'm not exactly sure, but I've been wanting to try one of Julie Garwood's kind of romantic suspense, and this was really cheap, so if anyone has a favorite Julie Garwood book, let me know what it is, because she's one of those authors, it's really hard to know like where to start with her stuff, so let me know. And lastly, from the library book sale, I got Eloisa James, When Beauty Tamed the Beast. I mean, look at that cover. I actually kind of like this cover. It's very like kind of retro and it almost looks like an oil painting, but this is book number, I believe, 2 in her kind of like retellings of fairy tales, and I've read Cinderella retelling and I've read the Ugly Duckling one, and I liked both of them. And I've heard this is a lot of people's favorite in that series, so I was really excited to see it, and it was kind of unusual to find it in a hardback because typically I think they're in paperback, at least all the ones I had were in paperback, so I don't know. I'm really excited to get to this because everyone likes it, so I want to try it out. So the next few books I got are all from thrift books. I love thrift books, so I made an order this month. Their books are just so cheap. If you like getting cheap books and you don't mind if they're a little bit worn, they have almost all their paperbacks for about $3.50 to $3.90, and they have free shipping over $10. So I highly recommend them as a website. It does take a little bit for you to get them. It's not super fast shipping, but it is free. So the first book I got from them was The Winter Gang by C.L. Wilson. This is not historical, it's a fantasy romance. And I've just been really wanting to check this one out. I've heard a couple people talk about this. I believe Avery's read this from Avery Loves Books, and I've heard a couple other people as well talk about it, and it's supposed to be really good. So I want to read it and see what I see. The next one I got from Thrift Books was 9 Rules to Break When Romancing a Rake, which is the Swoony Reads book club pick for the month of May, which is the book club that I'm co-hosting with Kayla at Literature Reads. If you're interested in hearing all my thoughts about this book, come join us for our live show, which is going to be on June 6th, I believe at 7:30 p.m. So I had to get it because I actually didn't own it. Thought I did, but apparently not. So now I do. The next one I got was A Useful Woman by Darcy Wilde. This is like another historical mystery. We're gonna see a theme here because I have really loved historical mysteries lately, or at least the couple that I've read I've really liked, but I did not love this one. I tried reading this. I got about I don't know, a few chapters in, and it just wasn't doing it for me. Now, I'm gonna give it another try, but if anyone's read this, please let me know if I should keep going with this because it seems like something I would really like, but I just had a really hard time like kind of connecting with anything in the story. So let me know if you've read this. The next one I got was The Taster by V.S. Alexander. This one sounds really interesting, and I was so excited to find it on Thrift Books because I just saw it at Target and it was pretty expensive. So this book follows a girl who is chosen in World War II to be the food taster for Hitler. That's basically all I know, but that is enough to kind of make me want to pick it up. So again, it's a historical. I've kind of been really into like historical fiction and mystery. I've kind of been craving that lately. So I don't know very much about this, but it just sounds really intriguing. So I'm excited to get to it. Next one I got was Mariana by Susanna Kearsley. This is the first Susanna Kearsley book that I've bought, but a few people have just been loving her, and I know that Bree at, oh gosh, what's your channel name? I think it's just Bree Hill on YouTube. She loves Susanna Kearsley, so I figured I would give it a try. I think this is historical fiction mixed with like some fantasy elements, I think, and I believe there's a little bit of a romance in there. I don't know. I know her stories are supposed to be really great though, so I wanted to give it a try. And the last one I got from Thrift Books was Murphy's Law by Rhys Bowen. This book is kind of the one that set me on really enjoying historical mysteries. So Rhys Bowen is kind of known for historical mysteries. She also has a different series that seems to be more popular, but this one is all about an Irish immigrant named Molly Murphy, who basically the story starts out and she comes to the US, and basically it's her kind of getting herself into all these kind of jams and scrapes and getting herself out of them. She's super feisty. I have already read this and I'll talk about it more in my wrap up, but I loved this and I definitely want to buy the rest of the series. It was really good. So the next place I went this month was We Got a Second in Charles, in where I live, and we had never had one before. I'd visited one when I was kind of like in a different area of the country, a different city. Don't know why I said it like that, but yeah, so we got one. I went over there the other weekend and they have just got the best prices on their used books. So the first one I got was The Secret History of the Pink Carnation by Lauren Willig. I have heard of Lauren Willig before. I know she writes historical fiction. This one just sounded amazing, and this whole series sounds really good. Again, I believe it's kind of a historical mystery type setting. But I don't know that much, but when I read the back, I sounded so intrigued, and I know I've heard a couple of people mention it before, so I really hope I like it because there's a whole series to read if I do. The next one I got was The Duke by Kerrigan Byrne. This is just to kind of finish up the series that I also already bought by Kerrigan Byrne and have read 2 of, and I own the other 2 now, so I'm all set. The next one's kind of a random purchase, and that is The Flame and the Flower by Kathleen Woodiwiss. Okay, I know nothing about this, but I know Kathleen Woodiwiss is one of the like original kind of historical romance writers, and a lot of people say like this is the author that got them into reading historical, so I have never read anything from her. but the storyline seemed intriguing, so I figured I'd give it a try. If anyone's read this author, let me know your thoughts. I know it's very old school romance. There might be some problematic elements in it, but I'm hoping maybe I can kind of like look past that and just see what I think of the story, so we'll see. Next one I got is called Size Matters by Alison Bliss. This is just like a fun contemporary romance. I don't know much about it, but I really liked the cover. I like that it's like a plus size model on the cover. That's just really refreshing. But it's kind of like a small town romance from what I can tell. I just kind of wanted to pick a few more things up to read this summer, and it sounded really, really sweet. I got 2 books in the same series, and that is Lark Rising and Silver Eve, and they are I don't think it's a duology. I think there's a 3rd book coming out, but this is like a YA fantasy series. For some reason, this series just kind of spoke to me when I was looking through the YA section. There wasn't too many books there that I either hadn't read or wanted to read, but this one just sounded really intriguing. It's by Sandra something. Sandra Wow, I cannot pronounce her last name, but it sounds really intriguing. It's about like life and death, and I don't exactly know, but it sounded really intriguing, so let me know if you've read this and let me know if you liked it. Okay, and the last couple of books are from my local used bookstore, which I went to just because I had some credit at, and I went with a couple of friends. And the first one I got was a Debbie Macomber book, and that is Someday Soon. I have never read a Debbie Macomber book, but obviously she's very well known, she's very prolific, and I kind of just read the back of a bunch of books and picked this one to start with to see if I kind of liked her writing style, so hopefully I'll like it. Then I picked up the rest of the Lenora Bell series that I had been reading, which was If I Only Had a Duke and How the Duke Was Won. I already read this one, so you'll hear more about this in my wrap up, but I have to read this one still, but I am really loving this series. It's awesome. And I was super excited because they had her newest book and her newest thing to come out like last month, I think, and they had What a Difference a Duke Makes, which is her new series, and I was just super excited. They had it at the used bookstore. I don't even care that it's a little banged up. I'm just excited. And the last book for this haul is After the War Is Over by Jennifer Robson. This is another historical fiction. I'm kind of in a mood for some reason, but I believe it just follows a woman who was a nurse, and she's it's after World War II and is kind of picking up her life. I know Jennifer Robson writes a lot of historical fiction, so I'm hoping I'll like this one. It's a beautiful cover, and it just sounds very atmospheric and very kind of emotional, so hopefully that'll be a good read. Okay, so those are all the books I bought this month. Probably way too many, but you know, I got most of them pretty cheap, so I don't feel too guilty. But I am really excited to get to all of these. A lot of these are ones I'm just like really excited to read. Let me know if you've read any of these and what your thoughts are, and if you think I should kind of move any up the list as usual. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.